Welcome to Listen English Story. Today's title is Perseverance. Chapter 1, Why Can't We Come In? I asked the big man in front of us. He was wearing a dark suit, and he looked strong. He was blocking the entrance to Zara's nightclub. We could hear the loud dance music inside. We really wanted to go in. I had just lost my job, and I needed a night of fun. I didn't want to stress, so we had to find a way to get inside. The tall man was a bouncer. His job was to let certain people in and keep others out. He pointed to his list and frowned. "Your name isn't on the list." I looked up at him. He was much taller than me. "How do we get on that list?" My friends Nate and Aaron and I had dressed up and driven across town to come to Zara's. The club was famous, and we wanted to check it out. But the bouncer didn't answer. Instead, he looked over my shoulder at the long line of people behind us. "How do I get in?" I asked again, snapping my fingers to get his attention. "You don't," he replied, waving the next person in line forward. She was a beautiful blonde girl. When I saw her, I had an idea. Wait, I protested. "Our girlfriends are already inside?" I lied. Aaron gave me a strange look, probably thinking, "Is Jack crazy? Jack, what are you doing?" Aaron yelled in my ear. He was a good-looking guy, but very shy. He never liked taking risks. "Be quiet," I whispered back. I didn't want the bouncer to hear. But he did hear us. He rolled his eyes and tried to ignore me again. "No, really," I continued. "Our girlfriends are inside, waiting for us." He lifted the red rope to let the blonde girl in. "Thanks, Bruce," she said as she walked by. I could smell her perfume. I wanted to follow her, but Bruce, the bouncer, shook his head at me. "Are your friends really inside?" he asked. "Yes," I answered. "Our girlfriends." He looked doubtful. He rubbed his bald head and lifted his clipboard again. "Okay, what are their names?" "Their names?" I didn't know their names, because they didn't exist. You're done," he said, smiling as he pushed me aside. Next, we couldn't get in, so we left Zara's and went across the street for coffee. "That was dumb, Jack," Aaron said as he took off his jacket. He had dressed up to come out, and with his looks and clothes, he could be an actor. But he always had a negative attitude. I felt bad because it was my idea to go out. Everyone knew it was almost impossible to get into Zara's without a reservation, and reservations were really hard to get. But I wanted to try anyway. Nate ordered his coffee black along with 2 chocolate donuts. Nate was different from Aaron. He was more adventurous and happy. He loved sweets like cakes and candies, so he was a bit overweight. "I'll have the same," Aaron told the waiter. "But plain donuts, please." "And what would you like, sir?" the waiter asked me. "I'd like to know how to get into that nightclub," I told him. "You can't get in there without a reservation or a date," he said. "Unless you're a girl, of course. It's easier for girls to get in." "Why?" Aaron asked. "Because the guys will go there and spend money," he replied. I nodded. "That's unfair." The waiter shrugged. "Maybe, But that's life. If you want to go to Zara's, you'll have to find someone to go with you. Want to order anything? Just coffee with milk, no donuts. I looked at my friends. Who eats donuts at 9 o'clock at night? Nate and Aaron exchanged looks. We do, they said together. I sighed, realizing I'd be spending the evening with these two. After we finished our coffee and donuts, we paid our bill. I noticed 3 girls sitting at a table talking. They were done with their food and drinks. Guys, look, I said. What if? No, Aaron cut me off. Jack, let's just go. Wait, what, Jack? Nate asked. Do you want to talk to them? I ran my fingers through my hair. We can try. Why not? Come on, I just lost my job. Do me a favor. What's the worst that can happen? Aaron stared at me, but Nate punched him in the arm. Come on, Aaron, he said. Jack is right. We can ask them. Maybe they'll want to go to Zara's with us. If we get in, they can stay with us, or they can leave if they want to. The girls were watching us. One of them, a redhead, leaned over the table and whispered something to her friends. They nodded but didn't smile. I felt nervous but decided to go for it. I walked over to their table with my friends following behind. Hi, my name is Jack Cruz. No relation to Tom Cruise, I joked. Clearly, the redhead said. Her friends laughed, and I laughed a little too. Would you like to go to Zara's with us? The bouncer wouldn't let us in, but maybe we could get in with dates. The smallest of the 3 girls said, Dates? We don't even know you. I know, I said, but let's just try. Don't you want to see inside Zara's? The girls looked out the window at the long line in front of the nightclub. Then they looked at each other. We don't need you to get inside, the redhead said. But I guess we can help you guys out. By the way, my name is Caprice. Chapter 2. Let me talk to the bouncer, I suggested as the 6 of us left the cafe. No, Caprice replied. Let me handle it. You couldn't convince him before. I started to argue, but Nate nudged me. She's right. Let her try. We began walking toward the back of the line when Caprice suddenly grabbed my hand. We ran toward the bouncer, and the others followed, confused by her plan. Excuse me, Bruce, she called out, waving her hand as we approached the tall bouncer. You're Bruce, right? Do I know you? He asked. You were supposed to let my boyfriend in earlier, she said, pointing at me. What happened? His name wasn't on the list. The list? You mean that fake list? She said, reaching for his clipboard. He quickly pulled it away, but she persisted. Come on, it's just a bunch of fake names. How do you know? Bruce asked, leaning in closer, maybe so others wouldn't hear. And so what if it is fake? Do you know Zara Bernhardt? Caprice asked. Bruce stiffened. The owner? Yeah, the owner, Caprice said, pulling out a photo and her driver's license from her bag. She showed them to Bruce, and his face went pale. I'm Caprice Bernhardt. Zara's my mom. That was amazing, I said, pushing my hair out of my eyes. I had no idea who you were, Caprice corrected as she led me to the bar. What are you drinking? The bartender was busy, but when he saw Caprice, he came over right away. "Nice to see you," he shouted over the loud music. "What can I get you?" "A Coke," she said, then looked at me. "And you?" "Me too." "What?" the bartender asked. "I couldn't hear you." "I'll have a Coke too," I shouted. Caprice seemed surprised. "You don't drink alcohol?" "I'm underage," I said with a smile. "I hope not," she replied, "or we're both in trouble." The bartender brought us our sodas, and we found a table in a quiet corner. "Your friends have disappeared." "I see one of them on the dance floor," I said, pointing at Nate. He was dancing with one of the girls. They seemed to be hitting it off. "And the other one?" "Aaron, he's gone." I couldn't find Aaron anywhere, so I checked my phone. He had texted me, saying he decided to go home. "Hey, guys," said the third girl as she joined us. "What's going on?" "Where were you?" Caprice asked. "Did you scare Aaron away?" "Maybe," she said, then looked at me. "What's your name again?" "Jack," I said. "And you are?" "I'm Susan. The other girl is Aisha. Your friend was weird." "He's not weird, just shy," I said. As the song goes, shyness is nice, and shyness can stop you from doing all the things in life you'd like to. Susan finished. "I love that song." "Really? They're one of my favorite bands." "Hey, you scared away your boyfriend," Caprice interrupted. "Leave my date alone." Susan smirked, unhappy. "Fine. I'm going to the bar," she said. "And I'm putting my drinks on your tab." She walked away to join the crowd at the bar. I was happy to be called a date. "Thanks again for helping us," I said. "I had a rough week. I lost my job." "Oh, that's awful. What did you do?" She looked a bit uncomfortable. Why did I tell her that? I thought. "Actually," I said, pointing at the bar, "I used to do that. I was a bartender." She bit her lip, thinking. "So," she said, "is Zaris everything you imagined?" I looked around the club. The lights were impressive, the music was loud, and the dance floor was packed. There were also plenty of places to sit and talk. "I love it," I said. "I'd love to come here every week." "Is that a hint?" "Yes," I said. "I mean, if you want to pretend to be my date again, I'd love to call you if you give me your number." Caprice grinned and held out her hand. I reached out to shake it, but she stopped me. "No, give me your phone." "Oh," I handed her my phone. She added her contact info to my list. "Now you have it. Don't share it online. It's private." I immediately dialed her number, and her phone lit up. "Now you have mine too," I said. "You can share mine online. I don't mind. Nobody ever calls me." "Your mom doesn't own a nightclub," she said. "Does she?" "I don't think so," I laughed. "By the way, I really didn't know who you were when I talked to you in the cafe." "I believe you," she said. "I know you weren't just trying to use me." "Well, I was trying to use you," I admitted, "but I was honest about it." This time, she laughed and looked away. Maybe I should stop talking, I thought. I need to go soon, she said. I told my roommate I'd be home before 11. You should live for yourself, not for others, I said. I read that somewhere. Caprice smiled widely. I agree, but my roommate lost her keys. Should she wait outside while I stay here with you? I put on an innocent face. I don't mind if she waits. Typical guy, she said, standing up. You have my number. And you have mine, I said, getting up with her. I wanted to walk her to the exit. Let's see who calls first. We could bet on it. For a moment, her face turned serious. Never bet against me or my family, Jack. We never lose. After 3, I waited 3 days before calling her, and those 3 days felt really long. It was tough to be patient. You lost, Caprice said when she answered the phone. We didn't bet, remember? Anyway, I was wondering, what are you doing tonight? She paused for a moment before answering. My parents are having a small party at home. Some business partners are coming over. They want to talk about the nightclub and see how it's doing. Are you going to be there? I asked. Yes, they want to hear my opinion. They think it's important to get a young person's perspective. Maybe you should come too. I laughed at the idea. You want me to meet your parents and talk about their nightclub? Caprice didn't laugh with me. Yes, I do. Why not? I think you're an honest person, but you don't really know me. Women have a way of knowing people, Jack. Can you meet me by 8? We met outside her apartment, and then we took her car to her parents' house. It was a massive mansion with 2 floors and about 20 rooms. I counted the windows as we drove up the long driveway. What are you doing? She asked. I'm counting the windows. Why? I don't know. Just trying to figure out where the bathroom might be. That was a silly thing to say, I thought. I'd never been to a rich person's house before, and now I was about to have dinner with rich strangers who happened to be this girl's parents. I had every reason to feel nervous. Don't be nervous, she said as she got out of the car. Just be yourself. What does that even mean? People always say, be yourself, be yourself. Of course, I'll be myself. Okay, forget it, she said, shutting the car door firmly. You're acting strange. Just be someone else. Sorry, this whole thing feels weird. I don't know what to say to your parents. She knocked on the door, and a butler answered. A butler? Hi, Jeeves, she joked. Very funny, young lady. Come on in. And welcome, mister. Hi, I'm Jack Cruz, I said, extending my hand. The butler shook my hand and introduced himself as Pete, not Jeeves. He led us to a large living room where about a dozen people were sitting on sofas. 2 of them stood up and walked over to greet us. Hi, darling, said a beautiful woman who looked like an older version of Caprice. Is this your new friend? Hi, I'm Zara. I'm Jack, I said, offering my hand again. Instead of shaking it, she gave me a big hug. A handsome man with gray hair stood behind her. My wife likes hugs, he said, but I'll shake your hand. His handshake was firm, like Superman's. Call me Ismail. I thought he was joking, like they had with the butler's name. Ismail? You're kidding, right? You can't trick me again. No, it's not a joke, Caprice said. That's really my dad's name. Zara laughed. I like your friend, Caprice, she said. Please sit down, Jack. Let's chat. We talked for a while in the living room, and then we moved to the dining room for dinner. They served a delicious chicken curry. After dinner, we started discussing their nightclub business. What did you think of the place? Zara asked. My first impression? Well, the first thing I noticed was the bouncer. He wasn't rude, but I don't think his reservation list is real. You think the reservation list is fake? Why do you think that? Caprice and I shared a smile. I told him it wasn't real, Caprice said. Many people want to come to the club, Zara said, adjusting her pearl necklace. We have to be selective. There isn't enough space for everyone. There's another reason, Caprice's father added. Some people come just to hang out, not to spend money. Others come ready to spend. It's a business, so we prioritize customers who are likely to spend. What did you think of the inside? Zara asked. Did you like it? I remembered the bartender, who was overwhelmed with too many customers. Having been a bartender myself, I knew how tough that job could be. I liked the inside, but you need another bartender, I said. The one you have needs help. There was a big crowd, and I felt sorry for him. Do you know any bartenders who need a job? Caprice asked. Zara and Ismail waited for my response. Yes, I know a bartender who needs a job, I said. And he works for cheap. By the end of the week, I had a new job at Zara's nightclub. My girlfriend, Caprice, often came to visit me. I made friends with the other bartender, Dennis, and even with Bruce, the bouncer. I can't believe it. You're so lucky, Jack, Aaron said one night, shaking his head. Lucky? I asked. Aaron was sitting alone, while Nate and his new girlfriend, Aisha, were nearby. You're wrong, my friend. Luck had nothing to do with it. It was persistence. In this life, persistence is the only way to get anything. Luckily, Caprice said, holding my hand, Jack has plenty of that. Thank you so much for watching until the end.